What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Ree Invented, with another dope episode of the Reason Why podcast. Let's talk about it. Ready? All right. Welcome back. This is your girl, Ree Invented. We got a special guest here, my homeboy, Mark McCalop, Mr. MCM himself. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. So tell the people who is Mark? Who's Mark?
Who is Mark? Mark is a gang of people embroidered into one. Like, okay, you got Mark the businessman, you got Mark the comedian, you got Mark the father, you got Mark the husband, you got a mixture of people. But I like Mr. MCM because he's kind of the calm for everybody. Like when the father or the husband, everybody, like, it's Mr. MCM can say, "Yo, I'm a problem solver. Let's solve this problem and move forward."
Okay,
so that's what I like the most.
So you're a problem solver. All right.
I am a problem solver. I solve problems for a living.
For a living, okay.
For a living, that's what I do.
So tell me about that. What do you mean? What do you mean about that?
Well, as you know, I own a plumbing business. This is my 21st year in business. I'll be in business 21 years, and about like 3 months, it'll be 21 years. Not to
21 years in business.
21 years in business.
Wow. So, like, in business, did you ever work for somebody?
I did briefly. I worked for somebody. I know. And the crazy part about it is I've been in business. Like, I've worked for people. I worked for another company, I would say, for about probably 5 years, 6 years. And I went into business. So, I mean, for me, there was some things that we'll get into that, a little couple of challenges, but I wouldn't trade the journey for anything.
Really?
I wouldn't. No, I would not.
Okay. So I know you from high school. We went to a trade school. I thought I was going to be a hairdresser. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I just wanted to get out the hood, So
as we all do.
Exactly. It's like, listen, I got to try something here. I was a rapper back then. You remember? Like I was really.
Yes.
I thought I was going to make it, man. From high school, like what made you even choose plumbing? Like, we did the exploratory. I did a plumbing class because you got to go through and do all the. What I didn't know is, like, does the men do like hairdressing too? Like, did you have to take like hairdressing and fashion? Really?
Absolutely.
I never even knew that. I never realized that.
I'm gonna tell you like this. Like, I was telling my wife one time, she was like, "Oh, like, I had curled the hair one time." She's like, "Well, how did I?" I was like, "Well, I went to Prince Tech. Like, I parted it, I rolled it." She's like, what? I was like, yeah. She's like, I do everything. I said, well, because I went through an exploratory program and we learned a little bit of every trade. So you kind of remember little subtle things that you think you don't remember, but then you're like, yo, hold on, wait, how am I to do this? And
yes, I remember building. They took us out somewhere and we built steps, like in masonry. In masonry, we built some steps. In carpentry, we had to put together like the studs or whatever. But then electrical, we had to run the lines and the thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I got some skills, y'all. That's something that I always wanted to know. I never seen a guy. Plus, I got expelled. What was that? I don't know, maybe 3 months into my was it 10th grade? Yeah, sophomore year.
We all had a bout with that. I had I thought he was about to bring me in like on the Rico, like some. Because it was like, yo, you a gang leader, this and that. I'm like, yo, well, hold on, wait. I seen a detective. I'm like, yo, hold on now. Let's talk this over. Yeah, it was an experience. Prince Tech, don't sleep on Prince Tech. Don't sleep. It was a really
like for real. We was really those kids.
we was crazy, but you know what? It all worked out. It
did.
Because,
like, okay, going back then. Looking back then, did you see yourself here? Did you even see half of this life that you live in now?
To be honest, like I always had a bigger way of thinking. Like my way of thinking was always like, this can't be it. And I remember going to Prince Tech and the teacher saying to me, like, so you got 10 friends, out of 10 of you, one of you are going to be this, one of you are going to be that. And I was like, well, if I got 10 friends and one of us got to be successful, one of us got to be rich, why not me?
That's going to be me.
So I always I calculated my life around that. Like, okay, boom, like these are the statistics and this is the chance. Okay, all right. So you know what? I'm gonna go for it. Let's go for it. And I just plugged it away.
That's pretty dope. Because I did the same, not like this. I remember back then, and it was so far fetched. All I knew was I was like, I'm going to have, my kids are going to be by the same man, and it's going to be my husband, and I'm going to have an office job and work at a desk with a computer. So that was it. That was as far as and I was like, they was laughing at me. They're like, girl, you're like, you're the streets. You're from the streets. Like, come on now. So that's pretty cool. That to see that other people also had, bigger dreams that was bigger than themselves. We didn't know back then what it would go to, but it was like, nah, this can't be it. Like people don't spend 30, 40, 60, 80 years in this life. Like, nah, this gotta be more. So that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. So now going back to the exploratory thing, what made you choose plumbing? Or is that something that you already knew that you was going to do before you got there, or what?
I'm gonna tell you some crazy mess. I was in a park, and I grew up when I was younger. I grew up on the north end by Waverly, and I seen a water fountain in the middle of the park. I was like, yo, how did the water get here? And I started looking around. I was probably like 7. I was like, yo, how did the water get here? And I just kept looking. I was like how? But it stuck with me. So when we got to plumbing, my mother had a long-time boyfriend. He was plumber for the housing authority. And he came home one day and he put $900 on the table. I grew up in the projects after I left from Waverly.
Right.
And I was just like, wait, hold up. He was like, he said, I work hard for this. I work hard and just tell me. And I was like, that's $900. Like, project. I'm
that was a lot of money.
I'm like, what? He just laid on the table.
They're rich.
I'm like, what? Like, hold on. This is why we able to get these sneakers. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that kind of plugged like a little fire inside me. Then I was just like, okay. But I never really took it serious. As you know, in high school, I was sort of a little different. I was like, into trouble,
What's a little different?
I was in trouble. I was in the game. It was this little, those regular things that the kids get into. And I never really took it serious. And then I had a couple teachers grab me by the hand, like, yo, you smarter than this. Like, don't go that gang life. Don't do those things. You like, people gravitate towards you. People listen to you. You're a great leader. Use those things for good. And after a while, I kind of like I shunned it at first, but then I started like, well, you know what? So I took that and I just said, well, if I can do this, I can run a company. And I was starting already like, yo, I'm going to do this. If I can get this many, like do this, I'm going to do this for positive. And that's what I started doing.
So you knew back then, like even once you got your trade, like you were going into business, you already had that in your mindset?
I didn't have it. My whole my whole first thing was like, I'm gonna get a job and I'm gonna be able to provide. I'm going to be able to buy what I want, and I don't have to sell drugs. I have to do this. And then once I got out there, and I started seeing, because when you come from the hood, like they tell you only as far as they can see. Like, oh, don't trust these type of people. Don't trust them because they don't like your XYZ. And I remember going on sites, and the first time I went on the site, and this old white dude. I met a couple of guys, but this one stands out. We were working at a high school, and the guy didn't know me from a can of paint. I'm a young black dude in the projects. I had on my work gear, which I got on my MCM shirt, but I had on my stuff. And he said to me, didn't know me from a can of paint. He rolled up in this old station wagon. He had an old fisherman hat. And he said, listen, young man, he said, get into CDs, like bonds. He started telling me about all this stuff. I didn't know what he was talking about.
What that is, right? It's like, sir.
He started telling me stuff like, oh yeah, you get into this and this is what you do. He said, by the time you're 40, he said, you put this in. He said, by the time you're 40, you'll have 500,000. Then he said, you do this, this, and that. And I was just like, man, but I didn't take the advice. But it was a fire. It was a fire lit. So I stored that in my fire lit category. And I'm talking to the guy that I'm working with. He said to me, he said, Mark, you know how much money that dude worth? And I'm just like, money? How? I'm like, what do you mean somebody's worth? Like, nobody, money
right, I don't even know nothing about it.
Yeah. So he said, yeah. He said, that dude worth $70 million. I said, $70 million? He said, yeah, he owns all of this. And he came over there, he talked to me. And everybody, like, they shied away. I'm talking to the dude, like, you're like, yeah. So every day he would come and talk to me. But I didn't know that until at the end. And I was just like, wow. So I always knew I had some type of magnetic chemistry with the universe that give me what I want. So wealthy people, they come, they talk to me like, well, no, because I see you as a person. I'm a person. And I was like, wow. So I always wanted to like see him, and I never seen him again. I was just like, yeah, I need to see this dude one more time. I did see him, but I didn't get a chance to talk to him. And I was just like, man, I wanted to talk to him. It's like, because we had great conversations, but it was mainly one-sided because he was just telling me, giving me game. And I was like, man, I was like, wow. And it just started like piquing my interest in ways that I'd never seen it before. I was just like, yo, I'm from the project. You know, if you make this much money, you'd have made it.
You're good.
And I'm just like, oh, hold up, wait. Hold up, wait. Because then I started seeing some of the contracts and the people I'm working with. I'm just like, oh, hold up, wait a second here. And then I said to myself, oh, I got to test out. I got to get my license. I got to get my contractor's license. And I'm going, oh, we going to do this. And then it started just like that. It started the seed started growing. I started putting water on it. And then it had MCM Plumbing. 21 years later, we here.
I love it. So, wow. Whew. So the guy, so he was already, okay, so he already was well established. He was worth 70 million, you know.
Million. Crazy to me.
So even then, that wasn't something that was like intimidating, like, oh, well, he had to, you know, he had the money to get the start. He had, you know, it wasn't, you still had that vision.
But you know what it is that he rode up in this old station wagon. And that was the part that tripped me out, because he rode in this old station wagon. And I was like, man, but I like that. This dude was like, yo, I know what I'm worth, or whatever people say money, but I know what I bring to the table. And for the dude to come in, he just talked to the youngest dude on the job site and the only black dude there. And he just came over, he just talked to me, and I'm just sitting there talking to him, he's laughing, and everybody looking like, why are you talking to him? Like, I'm like, he's talking to me, so I'm talking to him. What the hell you mean? Like,
right.
That's what happens. It's a conversation. Somebody talks to you, you talk back. That's usually how it goes. Right. Dialogue. And that was big for me. That was real big for me. And then another time, my mother, God rest her soul, she was, we were at the car wash.
Okay. And
there was this older black dude. And I'm just sitting, I'm just watching. I'm watching my mother's car. And my mother could see me. Like, I'm in awe. This dude got this old classic Jaguar. And right. I was like, man, that's such a nice car. He's like, yeah, he said, you know what? He said, I got a Cadillac. He started naming his cars. He said, yeah, it all comes from hard work, young man. And I was like, yes, I'm just listening to him. I always listen to him. I always talk, I always listen. And he was just talking to me. He was like, yeah, he's like, you know, and it's coming hard. He said, listen, you do good for yourself. He said, I drive trucks. He said, you do good for yourself. You're going to have yourself a good life. And I was just like, because I always seen negativity. I always seen negative around me. You know, this one on drugs, and this one selling drugs, right. This one about to go to jail, this one got murdered. I seen all this, and I was just seeing the whole different light, which it inspired me to like be one of these great people I see. And I was like, this is big to me. And what it did was like, yo, like I'm watching, and I remember after I finished talking to him, he sat there, he talked to me, and it was so good because I can remember and I can appreciate it now, because the older dude is giving some young dude the game. Right. And he didn't try to talk to my mother. He didn't try. He was just like having to go, yeah, man, like this, like listen. And my mother looked at him and said, you like that, don't you? And I was like, yeah. She was like, yeah. So I peeped her. Like my mother watched. She let it play out. She watched me, let him talk to me, and we did. But it was like those two things stood out because I was just sitting there talking to the strange man. My mother watched it. She seen the dude give me game, and she just let it happen. Like, okay, I'm gonna allow you to give my son his game, and growing up, like my mother was just like she knew it was just something in me, and it just been trying to escape. And I just said to myself, let me put this in the right place, and that's what I've been doing for the last 21 years.
That's pretty dope. So, like, now looking back, can you see them as like those were like your signs? Like those were like people that were placed into your life to like nudge you and make sure that you do what's right? Because that seemed, I mean, it seems like it's a coincidence, but I don't believe, I believe everything happens for a reason, so now looking back at those two experiences.
They were definitely like very, 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 very influential. Like because it was just a moment that I can remember. I can tell you that I can remember that. Like I think about it. Like I swear to you, like even like now or sometimes I just get up. I'm like I can't believe I've been in bed 21. I can't believe I can't like it's crazy. It's crazy to me. Like you think that you get to this status, and you're like okay, and it's like yeah, but it's just like really? Like, yo, me? Like, this is crazy. I'm like one of the silliest people I know. Like, I got a business. I got a grandson. Like, I got to, like, I get these things. I get to, like, what, me? Like, okay, sure, I'll take it. What's behind door number 2? I'll take it.
That is so dope. And, like, the fact that you're humble, too. Like, it's like, it's still, like, even after all those years, you're still in shock. It's like, yo, wait, what? Like, am I dreaming? It's like somebody gonna pinch me. Like, after all these.
Funny? You know what's funny? I always said to myself, when I got this or this, I'm about to go, I'm gonna buy me this, and you don't do it. You don't do it
because you don't care.
With that, like, like I have a nice car. But like when I got it, it was just like, yeah, I'm but you know what I'm really proud of? Like those MCM vans. Them MCM vans is what when people say, "That's how many vans you got?" Say that, I'd be like, oh, you got the Benz. I don't care about that. The vans. Oh man, I'm smiling from ear to ear.
So how many do you have? How many do you have?
5. We got another one coming.
You have 5 work trucks.
Yep. We have.
So how many employees?
I have 12 employees.
What?
Yep. I have 12 employees.
Okay,
hold on, wait. It's about 12, 13. It's because like I got job sites, so I had about 20. I think we downsized on one of the projects, and I had to make some changes to some of the guys, but that's what we have between subs and employees. We probably got. I got some guys working right now. Like they're gonna be getting off. And about what time is it? Like I got night crew 2, 4. It's 9:30.
Yeah, close to it.
Well, yeah, they probably be getting off. Like you might hear my phone ding, like yo, we finished this and that. But yeah, it's a interesting setup. It's funny. I still can't believe it. I'm gonna tell you like that. I can. Like I do a lot of like these interviews, a lot of things, but I just it's crazy to me. For me to say it out loud is crazy to me.
That's like, I mean, I'm sitting over here like, OMG, like
yeah, it's crazy.
It's nothing but be like happy for you. I can feel your joy. I can like, man, much success to all your future endeavors. That is very impressive. I want to get on. So I want you to walk me through the moment that you quit your job.
Well, interesting story. And at the time, I was with my young kid's mother, and my daughter was 7 days old. My youngest daughter was 7 days old, and I got a letter.
7 days.
I would be 7 days. She was 7 days old. I got a letter stating that I would be getting laid off. Yes. So I sat down and I said to myself, I got a 7-day-old daughter, and these guys told me they don't care. This is in my head, yo. You don't care.
Right, of course.
My daughter, my baby.
All kinds of shit in your head.
I got a 4-year-old. I got a 3-year-old. I got a 3, 2, and now I got a 7-day-old. And I was just enamored by the fact that they didn't care. It was just like crazy to me. Like, yo, I got a baby. Like, yo, what's up? Like,
y'all know I got a baby.
They didn't care. I worked for a municipality, and they didn't care. And I just sat to myself and I said, I got to go get my P1. I got to go get my contractor's license. So what I did was I studied. I went and got my contractor's license, and I got it. I said, I'm going to open a business. I said, because if they don't respect me enough, like nobody's going to have an opportunity to tell me if I can feed my kids or not.
Right.
Not that kind of company.
You don't get to dangle my livelihood over my head.
You don't get that carrot. No. So what I did was I studied, and it's crazy because I could tell what year I'm going to be in business because my daughter's 21, and it's going to be my 21st year in business.
That's
crazy.
Wow.
Yes.
So take us to that moment. Take us to that moment from knowing that you want to go get your license and actually getting them and starting the business.
That was probably like one of the, when I say like I'm getting like inside, I'm like, yo, it gets me like yo, I can remember the time like I jumped up, I hugged the proctor, like that dude that was in there doing the test. When he said, "Oh, you passed," I was like, "What?"
Oh my God.
I was going crazy. I was like, you could listen to me. I had to take one test out in Marlboro, Mass. Then I had to take a test out in West Hartford. And I was just like, yo, I'm calling all my boys. And like, I'm like, yo, why nobody as excited as I am? But I realized early on, this is my journey. So you can't expect people to be happy. So I just said to myself, I just sat there in the parking lot and I just kept looking at the pass thing. And it said contract. And I was just looking at the pass and looking at my picture. And I was like, yo, I'm in the car. And I said to myself, I'm about to go get me a bank account, but I ain't have no money. So I said to myself, my boy came through with a job. I gave my boy opportunity to join in to start with me at the grassroots. I remember it's like yesterday.
Oh, so wait, before you go, so you gave him the opportunity to leave his job, or he was already left his job?
we was all freelance. Like none of us really had a job because like we all had jobs, but it's like when you in the trade back then, it was overly saturated because you could have somebody like, you'll get fired. So what happened was, we had ended up getting laid off. And usually you have like a little time between layoffs because it's just the construction field is a really lucrative and like concentrated field. Like it's work all over.
Of course.
So I had got an offer to go to Kentucky with this company. So I did a job. Me and my boy, we got $500. I said, I'm about to go take this $250 and I'm about to open a business account. And at the time I was doing work for this lady. Mm-hmm. And she thought I was the nicest kid, one of the reasons with manners. And I went to Miss Pat and I said, I want to open a bank account. She said, okay. She said, you're going to do this. You're going to go down here. You got to get your LLC. You got to do this. She put me on. She was like, yo, do this, do that. I was like, oh, old lady too. Oh man. So
love it.
I did that. I did that. I was like, when I say you couldn't tell me nothing, I got this big checkbook. I got like $113 in the bank, but I got this big checkbook. Like, yo, I got the big check. I remember I seen this. I got the big checkbook. I made it. Like, yo,
the business check. Shut up.
Man, you can't tell me nothing. I got the big checkbook. So I got a big checkbook. I ain't got no money in the bank. I'm like, so I'm sitting up there. You couldn't tell me nothing. I got this old. Oh, you couldn't tell me nothing. When I say to you, like telling the story, like living it, and then telling it is just like, yo, it's crazy to me. Like it's crazy to me. Like just telling it, because I get re-excited. Like I get like chills. Like, yo, like, man, like I was on a serious grind. I didn't really realize it, but I was on a serious grind. I was on a grind. Like, man, I be looking like, okay, well, I was doing it.
So, but that's why, because that was your why. Like you know, the thing is, when you're put in a situation where your back is against the wall and it forces you to make the hard decisions, what you think you're gonna do? You're gonna survive. So you were in survival mode, and that's what forced you to like, hey, listen, if I fail, I fail. But like right now, look at what these folks they just discarded me.
Threw me out. And it's crazy, you know how they played me? They didn't be join the union first. They're like, yo, you join the union, you don't gotta worry about it, pay $150, you ain't gotta worry. I paid my union dues like on a Thursday. I got that letter like a Monday. I said, oh, they got me real good. They got me real good. But being a license, I don't know if you noticed, like being a licensed plumber in the construction field, you get a license, you could go work anywhere. Like in the construction field, a licensed plumber, I could have had a job the next day. But it was like I went to a job, I worked for a year, then I got laid off. It wasn't got laid off, he just didn't have work and he didn't know how to tell us. Right. And I went and got this job at the city, and it was just like, and I was like, I didn't like the feeling. I didn't like the feeling of being laid off. And I just said, yo, why not? I mean, listen, why not? Why not me? That was my whole thing. Why not me? Why not me?
Okay, so looking back, what would you have done differently given everything that you've been through in these 21 years? Would you have still jumped out the window like that, or would you have?
Absolutely. Jump out the window head first. Absolutely. I can't see my path being any other way. Like I can look and I can say, well, if I would have got a loan, I would have did this and XYZ, and it played out how it had to play out in order for me to be where I am as it relates to my success, my humbleness, my gratitude, my appreciation, my dedication, my involvement, my maturity. Like everything is based on my story. So had I been able to go and say, I'm going to get a loan for $25,000, I'm going to do this XYZ, I wouldn't have these parts of my journey that make me appreciate, like, yo, when I didn't have money, and then, I didn't have this, and I didn't have bad credit and all these things, and I had to grind. So when I'm grinding, it's like, okay, you got to appreciate that. You take somebody's money, you pay it back. Like, that's just maturity. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm come from the era where, I ain't pay it back. They gonna have to catch me. They gonna have to catch me. Not like, okay, when that bill come in the mail, I pay my bills now. When my bill come in the mail, when I open it, it's a bill. I write a check and I put it in the mail. And people say, oh, that's how other people pay the bills. No, it's how people that have good credit pay the bills. It's how people that are responsible pay the bills. Because I was always taught, like, yo, man, listen here, you could do. No, but that's not the way. So we just got to start teaching each other how to do it. Like, each one teach one. You get a way where you can teach somebody, help somebody, tell somebody's story. Because somebody might not know it.
I love it. So tell me about that. Tell me about doubts or something that you may have had, or the growing pains of the business, the dark side. Let's go to the dark side.
So I'm gonna tell you, all my stories is funny to me. Like, they might not sound funny. Like, when I say, like, yo, you went through that, you just laugh. Like, yo, listen, I remember at one point in time, I was just going in, and this wasn't moving past. I said, I'm gonna go get me a job real quick, and I'm gonna make some money. I'm gonna put it into the business. And then, because I didn't have patience, so I jumped a little early. and I worked for this company. And on my 24th birthday, dude fired me. He fired me on my birthday.
On your birthday?
On my birthday. I swear, I'm like, and he said to me, he said, just go. I said, you fired me? He said, no, I'm not firing you. He said, man, just go do it. I know what you're talking about. He said, yeah, they telling me that you leaving work. He said, go do it. And I said to myself, it's a wrap. I'm going to go do it. So I know I have to have the patience. That's why I say with the story, with my story, I had to have those things to where I had these, like the thing with this guy and the thing with a couple of other mentors I had along the way that kind of pushed me like, yo, you got it. You see it in you and I see it in you. So let me push you if I got to push you. And
so do your thing.
It was so many people. It was so many people that helped me. Like so many people that get, whether it was a conversation, whether a nudge or a pep talk, like, yo, you bet, like, it was so many people. Like, as I tell a story, it's just like been so many people where I'm just like, yo, listen, I can't do this. And it was just like people like, yo, nah, you gonna be the one that we gonna look up to. And like, yo, you gotta make it. Like, I was like, okay. Because you don't know who believe in you until you start believing in yourself hard body.
Right.
And they like, yo, wait, hold up. I knew this dude. Oh, and then I was like, oh, okay. So y'all gonna believe in me? Let's rock.
So how did you make those? How did you make those? How did you make something shake in those broke moments? Like, you know, when you didn't have no money like that, you know, with the no money in the bank and doing all of that. It's like, what? And you had the small kids. And tell me about that.
Oh, it was rough. I was telling my daughter the other day, daycare was costing me like $480 a week. I'm like 24, 25. It was costing me like $480 a week, and I'm trying to, like, it was like rough. Like, I remember getting them. Like, I remember I sold like one of them. No. At this point, I didn't. I remember I needed a car. And then my car, somebody hit me. I got some money. I was like, no, I'm buying the van. I'm going to pump this car. I'm buying the van. Back when everybody stunting, I'm buying the van. I couldn't find the van. I'm walking to my boy house. I see this van. This van is, to me, it was the prettiest van in the nation. But this van was a bucket. It was a bucket van. It was. But to me, I seen, man, listen, Tree, when I tell you, I end up getting the van, right? I bought the van for like $2,500. I swear to you, I went to Staples. I ordered a sticker, MCM Plumbing. I ordered a sticker. I got me the magnets. Listen, I need two. They like, yeah, they like how big? I'm like, yeah, 24, 36. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I want a red and white. I'm like, I just said, MC, let me tell you something right now. I hadn't even gotten my paperwork back yet. I was working before I went to the guy that fired me. I was working for this company. And I remember, you couldn't tell, I got these magnets. I was so happy. I put the magnets on my truck and I went to work. And this dude said, what do you think you're doing? You don't, the dude took my magnets and turned my magnets upside down on my van. When I say to you, I went ballistic. I was still young at the time. I went crazy. I went up to that.
Because you went and touched my magnets, bro?
Oh, man. I went all that. Oh, you touched my magnets. I was young. I was going crazy. I said, blink this job. Blink you. Blink. Big Al, little Al. I said, blink Big Al. Blink little Al. Oh, man. I was going crazy.
Every Al in the world.
Every Al. Will I Yankovic? Everybody. All y'all. Al Jarreau. Lou Alcindor. Everybody. I was like, I said, bump this. So I ended up quitting the job because that was just like, so I'm in super, super grind mode. So fast forward like a month, I'm broke now. I'm gambling at Kenny Park. I'm trying to do everything. I'm
gambling? Yo,
listen. Remember, I'm still young. I'm still
trying to make it happen.
I'm trying to shake and bake. So I remember when I'm trying to get. I remember I was working with this dude, Mark. We was cool for a while, and I'm up at Willimantic somewhere. I'm running my mouth. I'm telling, oh yeah, because they see I got my shirts. So the dude, I said, yeah, it's MCM Plumbing. He said, how many guys you got? Well, I got 12 guys. I said, I got 12 guys. Now, this is how you speak stuff into existence.
Right.
This is how,
it was just you.
It was just me. But the one thing, I made sure I set my business up. So I had my payroll, I had all of this stuff set up. So at the time, my boy had just got out of jail. My cousin just got out of jail. Everybody, I started calling everybody to do something to me. He was like, you know what? He said, I'm going to give you an opportunity. I'm running. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I got this job. That's guy talk for BS.
Of course.
He said, yeah, I'm going to call you in about 3 weeks. How many guys? I need guys. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
So I said, listen, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I said, I got 8 guys. I said, I got about 4 guys that know something. I said, 4 guys that don't know. He's like, yeah. He said, no, that's fine. He said, can you give me 6 of them? I was like, well, we got to talk numbers. He's like, yeah, listen, I'm going to give you. Yeah, it was crazy. So I'm looking like, whatever. I remember I wrote my number on the back of the car. He gave me his number. Real Southern dude. So I'm thinking up there, meanwhile, I'm broke. So I'm trying to hustle. Like 3 weeks later on a Friday, like 10 o'clock, my phone ring. I'm on Sanford Street. I'm in the hood. I'll be in the hood. I'm talking to the crew. My phone rang. The dude said, hey, Mark, it's Johnny. I said, Johnny? Was like, yeah, Johnny. He said, me, from Park Plumbing. I'm like, he said, yeah. He said, I need 4 guys Monday out in Bloomfield, and I need 4 guys in Manchester.
Shut up.
I said, what? He said, yeah. Now, mind you, I had been getting my shirts. I had been getting all that stuff already in order.
Shut up.
I swear to you, and when I say to you, I swear to you, that day, because back in the day, it wasn't like Amazon stuff coming the next. I'm waiting for like each of like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. My shirts came. I got on the phone. I called all the dudes I went to school with. I'm calling everybody. Yo, I need guys. This, that. I managed to wrangle up 8 guys. Got the guys, and I worked with them for about. I worked with them for about 6 months. I don't know, but I remember it was. This was my first year. Now this is the whole thing. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was getting money. Like I'm looking at drug dealers. Like that little money.
Yes.
Oh,
you gotta hide from the police, buddy.
I ain't got that. So I end up. I remember I'm paying my guys cash. I'm living like I'm like I got some cash. I'm winning. So at the time, somebody had broke into my apartment and stole like watches. Stole. They hit me.
Haters, you coming up somehow.
I think it's just been random. I just think it was just like I think it was like some randomness, but because nobody know me, I'm not flashy. I stay out of the way. I'm a very registered gun owner, and I make sure that listen, I don't want to hurt nobody, kids. But if it's between me and you, it's got to be it.
I'm gonna choose me.
Sorry.
They said I'm a very registered.
So I got the guys. So I'm paying my guys. I'm paying guys cash. So at the end of the year, I get a 1099. So I'm thinking I probably made like 25,000. That's how dumb it sounds. I probably make 25,000. That 1099 said 112,000. I said, oh, whoa. I go to I only have an account. I go to my tax person at the time. They like, oh yeah, you owe 17,600.
Cause you was paying them in cash.
I'm paying them in cash. I ain't got no write-offs. It was ugly. So now, this how it broke down. My guys went out there, and I'm pretty sure someone might watch. Like, yo, he telling the story. We did a job, and these dudes everybody up there went up there high. I got all these guys. They went up there. They smoked weed. They went up there high. So the guy called me. Said, Johnny, same guy that called me a year before. This is like probably like 8, 9 months later. He said, Mark, you might want to get out here. I said, wow. I said, what's up? He said, just come up here. I get up there. I see the Duchess. You see the guts from the Duchess, and I see him right by the van.
Straight nigga. Yo, what?
Listen. We the only brown crew on the job. We young. The oldest one was probably like 26. We out there getting money. We young whippersnappers. We grown.
Right.
He said, yeah. He said, Mark. He said, we can't do business like that.
Ooh.
I remember I had this office. I'm doing everything. And I said to myself, I went and got everybody in the office. I was like, yo, everybody done? I said, because y'all don't care. And I got rid of everybody right there. Boom.
Right then. No right questions then, asked. You didn't care who did it or what.
Yep. Because nobody was this. It was.
This is my life that y'all playing with.
And it's early on, and I learned like a lot of stuff. I was just like, it was bad. Then I went back into just working by myself, trying to like rebuild that up. And I'm thinking my first year in business was pretty good, so don't worry, the rest of the year is gonna be like this.
No,
little did I know I was so wrong, and it was like two years of who done it and why, and it was like. So those were the times it was like I kept, trying to, do odd jobs with guys that know their own businesses, and it was trying. Like it was trying. I had little kids. It was definitely like, it was tough, but the journey to get there always inspired me. So it never was like I'm struggling. Like, okay, I'm struggling, but what part of the story is this? Like, is this something outside? Like, so I'm never like, oh, I'm struggling. It's just like, what part of the story is this? Because we all have this big book of life that we have, like, and you always have a story. Like, what part of the story? I always ask myself, what page of the story am I on? Like what page is this? What chapter is this? And I've always given my life chapters. Like, this chapter is like redemption, because like I feel like I just gave up on myself, not wanting the quality of stuff that I'm used to. So I call this chapter my life redemption, and that's what it is for me.
I love it. So, what were, looking back, like what were some of those? Walk me through some of the stumbling blocks, like some of the bumps in the road that was like, this is crazy. So like elaborate on.
I tried to do more than I should have. I tried to bring any and everybody along. I wanted to be the savior for all the blacks in construction whatsoever.
So wait, what about that? Let's go into that. What does that mean?
Every time you go into a room and they look at you, my mother always told me this: you don't want to be a criminal because they don't see you; they see everybody that comes before you. So when they see everybody that comes before me, I try to be the best of every version. So I said to myself, I gotta try to bring people aboard. I gotta try to, like, I don't want to be the only one that makes it. I don't want to be the only one that is winning. But that hurt me in the sense of, I didn't know when to stop.
That's big.
I didn't know when to stop. I was like, okay, you. And I had to say to myself, I got to get me right. I gotta get there first before I can do this. I can't not be there doing this. And that's when I started realizing, like, but that's that, every little bit. And that was tough. That was a big learning block. Like, if I had to give somebody some advice, that was like, get yourself there first. Get yourself right. Work on yourself. Before you can work on anybody else, you got to work on yourself. And business, personal, everything, all that stuff is important, because if you still trying to go back there when you're trying to get somewhere, you can't really go back there yet. You got to go back to prepare, because now you're in the middle. Like, I still want to tap in with these people, but these are people I want to sit with, and these are the rooms I want to sit in, and I'm bringing me to the room. So that's how the room going to change. The room changes when I do what I do. So when I get in that room, you're going to get me. You're not getting somebody saying, hey, buddy, this and that. You're getting me. And I know me. I know what I represent. I know who I am. And that was, one of the things.
So leaving, how hard was it making the decision to like leave people behind?
Extremely. Because it was like I'm not. It felt like I was like, let me be careful with my choice of words. It felt like I was not turning my back on people, but I felt like as if I didn't try hard enough to bring them. But in all actuality, they didn't try hard enough to come with her. Because the thing is that if you take the kid to the store, right? If you say I'm about to go to Walmart, you might be dragging like they don't. You say I'm about to go to Toys R Us, you ain't got they coming, boom.
Right.
They didn't understand that the store I was going to was going to give us toys for life. But it's not easy to get there.
You gotta I like that analogy. So now, okay, so they didn't understand that where you were going was gonna provide the toys for life. So what was the breaking point where it's like, I gotta cut ties? And the reason why I asked this, so this is probably one of the hardest parts of my life. I consider myself a very strong person, but walking away from people is probably the hardest because, part of my childhood traumas is like separation anxieties and things like that. So even in relationships, I stay in them way longer than, it's been over type thing. So walking away from the people that were close to me, and then on the strength that they're not willing to go, or we don't have the same path or the same direction or whatever, that was pretty hard for me. So help me understand, how did you get to that, that determining factor? Like, you know what? I'm done with you. I can't even, this is the day that I'm going to separate myself.
For me, it was, how are you going to get somewhere if you bring in people that don't want to be where you are now? Like, they trying to get to where you are, but they don't want to be there because it takes hard work. Right. It takes hard work to get somewhere. And it's easy to say the world is against me and nobody want me to win. That's easy. But it's hard to try and know you may possibly fail. But it gets greater later. So when I went and I said to myself, if I try, I can't fail. I can't fail. If I try with me giving, I can't fail.
Right.
So I had to sit on that like, listen, you better yourself. I know what I can bring to the table. Something is going to give. So that's what I did. I was just like, so in doing that, I said to myself, I later for that. We can go back or we cannot go back. But you got to get there, and you got to sit in these rooms, and you got to change the culture, and you got to understand that it's not meant for everybody to sit in certain rooms. Like, I got a certain friends I might go out to the club with, but I can't take them to this bar because they don't act like the people that go to that bar. And I got friends that you know how it is. Like, you got you got the trap friends, and you got these friends. You can't bring these. But my whole goal was to introduce everybody to at least give them the game. Like, yo, listen, this is what I'm doing, X, Y, Z, and that's the only thing that kept me like, yo, if I give them the opportunity and they don't take it, then it's on them, because I gave it to you. Like, yo, here's the directions, page 4. If you get the directions, you don't read them, and you don't see that, okay, if I do this, I can do this. I'm giving you the blueprint. Do this, do that. You don't do it, it's on you. So but you can't say to me, yo, you ain't tried, you ain't give it to me.
That's what I was gonna say. Do they like? Do you have beef now, where it's like, yo, you acting funny, you done switched up on me, like you don't even.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I really have that, because I've always given people the game. Like, I've never, you know what I do get? And this is probably one of the humblest thing that I ever experienced, like in general. I get, yo, you helped me. Yo, I was in a dark place and you nobody would help me, you helped me. Yo, I've been looking for you. I wanted to say thank you. Like, yo, like nobody, like you had the whole hood to work, like, and I'll be like, yo, I did that. I can't even remember that. But it's like, yo, you always are trying to help people. Like, you always are trying to. I pull up to the block, yo, I need help. Come give me a hand, give you a butt. Like, that's what I get. I get that more often. You may get somebody saying, yo, this dude XYZ charges too much. Later for you, I don't even listen to that, but I do get a lot. Like, yo, like one time, and I'm gonna tell a story. Like, I tell a story all the time. This kid, Anthony, my guy, when he was younger, he was a little trouble. Like, he was in trouble, and I guess I gave, like, one of my guys, I got this guy, boom, boom, gave him an opportunity, and he probably worked for me, I want to say 2 months, I can't really remember. I had seen this dude in probably 12 years, and he walked up with me at Home Depot, and he was like, yo, he said, Mark, I'm looking like, that is me, Anthony. I said, yo, what's up, man? He said, I've been looking for you. He said, I wanted to say thank you. He said, I have my own business now. He said, I do basements. He said, and I'm like, yo, stop. I'm like, yo, I said, no. He's like, yo, no. He's like, yo, he said, yo, nah, don't don't try that humbleness. He's like, yo, you helped me. He said, you gave me a shot, and you talked when nobody else would. And I swear to you, I'm at Home Depot. And like I said a couple times, like, yo, no,
for real. That's I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh.
Yo, it was very, very, very big. And like, it's always like these things happen at the right time. And I'm just like, yo, listen, I can't do this. These guys drive me nuts. The XYZ, I'm shit. And then you hear that and you're like, oh, it's for something. Oh, it's for something.
Right.
So you get to say to yourself, like, yo, for every 100 people that didn't work out, that one person that worked out, oh man, that has set your spark for another 300 people. And that's what it's for. And I was just like, I was so enamored, but I was just like, that story really, like, I tell that story like pretty often because it touched me, like, and that happened more than once. Right. And I was just like, but that one, because, you know, I keep these, like, I'm always hiring people. That dude right there, that was big. That was very big. So, you know, it may not be the people you want to come, but somebody's gonna come along for the ride.
That's pretty dope. So, what is something else that you probably was like, the stumbling blocks, the blocks in the road, you know, the closed doors?
Oh man, I probably, closed doors is like, they call me, I don't know what the heck my name was, doormat, because they done closed more doors on me than I can think of. But I can remember at one time, I went to a meeting at Harper High, and it was a $70 million project, and they had to do 20% minority. So they took
25%. I used to be on that school board.
Yeah, and back then it was 20%. Okay. And they said to me, oh yeah, we're going to you got to give a contract or 20%. It was something, but they had given it to a landscaping guy. And then it was like, yeah, you're going to give somebody a contract to just put in sinks and toilets. And I was just like, I said, man, what? So fast forward, they had another meeting. I said, I'm not going. I said, I'm not going so I can just sit in the meeting so y'all can say, oh, we had this many minor. I'm not going.
Right.
Y'all can take this and shove it. I said, y'all can take this and shove it. And the dude looked at me like, well, y'all can shove it. We don't need it. So what I started doing was doing a lot of work, like, those guys rehabbing houses. I started getting in that scene, rehabbing houses, doing both, like, I'm in the scene. And I started building myself up, building confidence, building clientele, building credit, building, financially, like, you doing everything. And then I end up doing this job, linked up with this new up-and-coming company. They didn't know much, but it gave me the experience. And I was like, okay, this what this mean, this what that mean. So now I'm gearing myself to go back into, like, commercial. And I said, you know what? I think now's the time to go in. So I went in and I grabbed the number. Oh, my boy, you gonna come with me? You gonna come with me? It worked out because we got one job, then we got another job, but it didn't work out with the two jobs. It worked out one of the jobs.
With the one, okay.
With the one. And I just said to myself, I said, you know what? I keep grabbing people. That's my whole thing. I keep trying to grab, this, that. The next one, I said, you know what? Nah. So all the Dolo. Went well. Went really well. Now, that doesn't say that I didn't have stumbling, it's a different, you get into a different tax brackets, different tax codes. Mm-hmm. But one thing that I did realize is those different tax codes, they pretty, like, good to business owners.
Right.
And
exactly.
Once you do your business right,
mm-hmm.
There are some loopholes. There are some tax things that you get to do. There's some things that you get to, write up. It's benefits doing business the correct way. Mm-hmm. It costs more upfront. But you know what? You get to say, yes, I have a business, so I'm able to do this. My business established. I pay my taxes, and which is very important. So I'm able to do these things. And when I go to the dealer and I say, listen, this is my credit score. This is what I'm putting down. I want 4 vehicles. And you leave out with 4 vehicles. You call your guys, pick this one out, pick this one out, pick this one out. It's a great feeling. So, I'm just a guy.
I'm just a guy.
I'm just a guy.
I love it. So, how many times you would say that you failed? And throughout life, like
how long is the show? How long is the show? You failed.
Like, if you were to guesstimate how many times you done, fell, and where it was like, where that someone else would probably give up, where you like, but you just had it in you. You knew what your end goal was. So how would you guesstimate that?
It's a lot of times. It's a lot, but there's so many times where you like, I had enough. I'm closing the doors tomorrow.
Really?
It's what? It's like, listen, I can't, like, the guys, because when you are an employer, first of all, when you're a business owner, then you become an employer. You have to scale everything, because you got, say, 10 guys, you're dealing with 10 different personalities, 10 different families, and then the stress of, I'm responsible for all of this. And if this don't work, then this dude got his family, this dude, his house depending on this person depending on this, my family depending on this, my kids depending on this. You're thinking of all this stuff, and then you, like, man, it's just like chirp. But one day it goes away, and it's just like autopilot. And all you got to do is keep improving it, putting gas in it, making sure you upgrade and trying to, all of these things come with it. But now this is like my 21st year, and I would say this is the stuff that I just learned like 5 years ago. It's not like, okay, I had it for 10 years, I've been rocking out. No, like, it continues, and I'm still learning.
Right, as you should. So, like, did you have any fears in the process? fears? Did you have any fears? Like, you know,
I had of course, the number one fear is the fear of failing, because that's the biggest thing. You got people that say, "Oh, I knew you should have did it. I knew you should have did this. I knew you should have did it." The fear of failing.
But what about going higher? Like make it, when you started off, as a small, and then, kind of scaling, how you were saying?
The fear for me was, what's funny is that my community saying, haha, I knew you wouldn't make it. I think that was big for me. Like, I gotta keep going.
Yeah.
The fear of
where we come from.
But like I said, I had to listen to me. I'm fortunate. I got a lot of supporters, a lot of people messing with me. And you might have some people, but they don't know me. Right. And the thing is that I do a lot for the community, for the people, for the culture, for the our people in the industry. And I am fortunate to have a lot of people that like looked out. But as far as fear was like letting them down. A big fear was like letting my mother down. Like, that was like a big fear.
Right.
Like, letting my kids down. Like, my kids always look at me as, that was big.
Like a hero.
My sister, like my family, like I'm a good guy in my family. Like I'm a good,
Right.
And like the fear of like not being that guy was like big. That was probably big. Like my family, that was bigger. That was bigger than everybody. Like, because like, this is what happens when you get opportunity. And I think like a lot of people don't understand that what they have inside is magical. And I think that they fear what's inside of them. Like, if I actually apply myself, I could do something, like it's endless. The opportunities are like endless. And I've experienced that. Like, if I apply myself as much as it's crazy. It's crazy.
So what are the things that you told yourself? Like, what are the limiting beliefs that you had, like when you first started this thing, where you were like, that you probably couldn't do it, that you couldn't succeed? What if, like how you said, what if I fail? Like, how did you get past those limiting beliefs? Show me again. What you did?
Money. It was always a thing about money. Money, credit, money, credit. Money, credit. Like, that was the main thing. I've always had this thing. Like, if I had this much money, I would be this much further. And it doesn't come without the lessons. Like, you think you're going to get the money, but the money doesn't come until you get the lesson. Because if you don't get the lesson, when the money comes, you're going to squander it. So you have to have the lesson before you get it. Like, before I was able to get certain contracts, I had to learn like a plethora of lessons. I had somebody try to sue me. That was
really
you couldn't tell me nothing. I was the worst person. Oh my goodness. I was the worst person in the world to myself.
Why?
And I was like, I told one of my, because I've always, like, if it was any problem, I've always worked it out. But I notice when I've done certain things, when I don't do what people tell me to do, the dynamic changes. And it's like, I'm not doing that, because that's not what we talked about. Then it was like, oh, you better. And then it was just like, wait, what? Like, what? You did? Like, we did this thing. Like, and I listened to myself. I said, okay. And I remember sitting and I said, this is a lesson, isn't it? And I said to myself, no verbal. Write it down, send me an email, follow up, all of these things I need. So I said, in order to do that, I got to go into an arena where that's the primary, and it was commercial.
Right.
If I give you a price on a job that's $250,000, it's going to be for everything that's on the blueprints, and that's what on the scope of work. If it's not there, it costs money. Everybody knows it. So, okay, this was in it. This is $10,000. Sign it off.
So now that's a change order. That's a change order. I mean, like anybody in the business, no.
When you're doing residential for mom and pops that been saving up their money, they don't want to hear change order.
They don't understand that. That's true.
So I said to myself, I had to change my arena. So when I did that, I started seeing things change and change rapidly. Like when I say rapidly.
So what do you mean, going from residential to commercial?
Oh, yes.
Really? Because that's the big... Oh, man. I was going to get onto that. So, yeah, talk to me about it.
Going from residential to commercial, night and day.
Oh, of course.
Night and day.
I do construction. I do construction accounting, so I do the job costing. So I do job costing for residential construction and then commercial. So I know the difference.
Listen, for me, the money was cool, but it was the format and the business that got my attention. Like, yo, how many job hours? How much you charging per hour? How much for the job? This, that, and the third. And I was just like, okay, this is my number. This is what I'm gonna call for this. How many hours? Right. Okay, that comes with the $285. Okay, these are my numbers. Okay, and they say okay.
No problem. No problem.
They're not gonna haggle. You're not haggling.
They already know the price. Most likely, you cutting yourself short. They already know their price.
But you know what's crazy? I learned that. That's one of the messages. That was one of the lessons. Yeah. I said to myself, I was like, yo, hold up, wait a second. We got to get this situated. And then I started going up and saying, okay, well, what is the average price? What is my price? What is my job cost? What is my company cost? And that's what I did. I just did that for a good year, 2 years. I started getting up to my price and said, okay, this is what it costs me to run this business. This is what it costs with me because I'm on my own payroll. So This is what the payroll costs. In order for us to make payroll, we got to make $10,000 a week or something. Right. That's what it's going to cost. And if I'm not making that, then I can't do your job.
Oh, okay.
And it was like, we wouldn't just arbitrary numbers, but it was just like that.
Right.
And you get to stand steadfast in your business practices, because you got to have certain business practices to be in certain arenas. And that's what I did. And I tried to give, if you ask anybody, if you in construction, you just trade, I'm giving out game for free. Because if somebody would have told me some of these things, right, maybe I wouldn't have stumbled. Maybe I would have stumbled. Maybe I wouldn't have stumbled as hard in certain situations. But
so, do you brag? Are you like a big show off? Are you like a showboat? Like you got 21 years in this. You got 21 years as a boss. So like Mr. Boss, are you like listen, little young lad. Let me show y'all a little worker sign. Do you?
Nope, I don't. But I'm gonna tell you what I do.
What you do?
I don't brag. And my boy told me he's starting this business. He said, Joe, you said, yo, you're just way too humble. I was like, nah. But I will do this. Like people say, a boss, you're not a boss. And I say, well, if you don't have your name on your own checks, then you ain't the boss. And that may come across to people like, yo, I understand. I'm not disrespecting you if you're a manager, a supervisor. I respect it. I respect your hustle. I respect your climb. I respect everything. But what I do and what you do, two different things.
Two different things. We are not the same. And it's okay. It's okay. We can coexist.
But like, cause my man, who's another boss, he was telling me, he was like, cause we do some boss things together. He was like, he had put something on Facebook. He was like, yo, I had to take it down because everybody keeps talking about bragging. I was like, yo, man, put that back up. You're not bragging. I said, put that back. What are you doing? He's like, yeah. But I said, then you know what? You don't need to have those people as friends. I said, because you're going to either offend somebody or inspire somebody. Right. What you out here doing? I don't care who I offend, but if I can offend 10 people, but if I inspire one person, I'm with it.
Right. That right there. So that's big for me because, when I started my bookkeeping and business stuff, and just like you, I had the magnets on my car and all of this stuff. So I would post things. I think I posted a post that said, grind so hard until your to your haters, ask if you're hiring or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's been around. It's been circling around for years.
Yeah.
But I had posted this back in the day. Like it was like in my first year of business. And my best friend, my homie, like I thought like me and this girl was locked in like forever. Like she called me on some like, you know, she was drinking when I heard it in her voice, and she's like, "Oh yeah, Ree, you know, I don't like that. I feel like you throwing shots and you like, you know, throwing subs online about." I said, "Yo, are you kidding me? The fact that yeah, no, like it's like I was this post was for my haters. Okay, the post was for my haters. The fact that you was even associating yourself in this post is weird to me. We literally back then, that was the last time I talked to this girl, and that stuff it still hurt me to this day because like it'd be like, yo, for real? Like I had no clue that, you know, so I always want to ask people like how does that work for them and them, because I still struggle with that. I'm bragging.
It's not a thing of bragging, and I remember talking to my wife, and she was telling me like when we got together, I would always pay things with cash, and I remember saying to her, I was like, I was so against credit, and I just said to myself, am I hating? I said, am I hating like that her credit is good? Like, yo, wait, hold on, wait a second. And then I had realized like it doesn't matter who doesn't want to go along right with you. It doesn't matter who's outside your car. It only matters who's inside your car.
Who's
who's riding with you. If they're not riding with you, don't be concerned. They gotta get another car. But if they're riding with you, you protect them. You bring them with you. You get them to a safe journey, and you say, okay, I'm going to be the driver. I'm going to get us here safe. If you trust me enough to ride with me, let's dip.
We're going to go. I like that. Tell me, I like that. Tell me, talk to your younger self. What would you tell your younger self right now? That young Mark that's, you know, in high school or fresh out of high school that's looking in this. Tell me what advice that you would give him. You're that older guy that's worth the 70 million now. Tell me what you would talk to yourself and tell yourself.
Wait, hold on.
I'm saying.
I know. Patience. I would say patience, perseverance, humbleness, gratitude, all things that I named earlier, like that I incorporate, and this is how I'm able to be gracious and humble, because these are the things that along the way I picked up, because you couldn't tell me that when I got a business I wouldn't call my old teachers and say, you said I wasn't gonna make it,
right.
bump you, yo, you third grade girlfriend, you were gonna car wash, right. You couldn't sell me I wasn't gonna be doing that stuff. But when you start getting those jewels, you don't do it. You understand in humility that you get to be great. And I'm so grateful that I'm able to do so, because I thought I was gonna go like on a stunting spree. Like I'm about to go get some bands. I'm about to go. I thought I was about to be. You couldn't tell me I wasn't gonna be.
Teach you how to stunt on them.
What stunt? What? Yeah, no. You just, you do the best you can. You help. You give back. I think I've been really extremely blessed because I have a great support system. I have my wife. She has patience with me.
Oh, that's good.
She has patience with me. Like, when I'm sitting there talking about all my days, I know she be getting tired. Like, yeah, this dude won't shut up about this, because I be about business, but she on that same realm. So it's like, I'm about to go in. Like, yo, you call event time. Like, we got 5 minutes because I'm about to go in. And that's what I would tell like my youngest self. And I had to get, like, it came about like every step, like, yo, you gonna get this, because I was a little rambunctious, I was a little zealous. I was like an overzealous kid. I was like, yo, like, you know, like nobody will know because I'm in the trade where it's not popular. Well, you know, trade's getting a little more love, but it's like I'm not a promoter. I'm not, you know. But to me, I'm like, yo, you did all of this stuff and you only getting that? Yeah. Wow. That's a bad night for me. Like this. So, but it's those things. Like you get to just say, yo, listen, every realm and every like trade and career is different. And I promote the trade because I think that the trades are lacking. But I definitely would tell my younger self, like, yo, patience, humility, humbleness, and belief. Like you believe in yourself. That's really all it takes. Because a lot of people, when they go to sleep at night and you up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you got to believe in yourself. Right. You got to believe in yourself. There's nobody you're not gonna call your boy. Maybe some friends like, yo, this is rough. Like you got to believe in yourself. Kendrick Lamar had a song that like who are you gonna turn to when the figures run deep? 3:30 in the morning, you scrolling through your call log. Ain't nobody but the mirror looking for the fall off. I love when you count me out. Like it's written. Like you can't pick up the phone at 3:30 and call somebody like they're gonna answer like, yeah, I'm up. Tell me your problems. Believe in yourself.
3:30 in the morning waiting for the fall off. Like, yeah. Yo,
it's crazy. It's like I'm telling you, it's been 3 months straight. I got up at 3:30 in the morning, like not going back to sleep till 10 o'clock the next night because I got to get out of this job or like situations now. But I realize that's part of business.
That's it.
And if you think that it's going to be a time where everything's going great and it's just not.
It's like euphoric feeling, this magical moment, and you're just like flying. Like no, like you're like a firefighter. You're a CEO. You're the
coach.
Captain, you're the HR. You're the de-escalator from the employee issues. Like they're beefing. Listen, it's a lot. So I definitely understand.
Oh yeah, it's. But you know what? That's the fun part. Like that's right. Like I like it's literally like that's the fun part. Like that. Like I swear I wake up and I'm like, I own a business. Like I was in a meeting today and I'm just like I'm in a meeting. Like I'm in a meeting. Like I'm in a meeting. I've been in several meetings, but I'm like, I'm in a meeting. Like, okay, but that's the fun part. I like it. Like,
I love the humility. Like this is like, I mean, it is amazing. It's amazing to see you get so far in life and so far, on your journey and still be humble like that and still like, it really is. So tell me something that you learned about your failures along the way.
I'm a really strong individual.
Okay.
I learned that because I've always been like, I've seen some stuff. I'm like, yo, hold up, wait, what? And I learned to take it with a grain of salt and chalk it up to the game. Like people let you down, business part of like everything. But at the end of the day, it's part of the game. Like I opened a business with somebody and it lasted one job. I opened a business with somebody and it even lasted for a job. And this is part of the game. It's part of the game. I came up with some people, they fell off. And it's just like, it's no knock on them. Everybody got their own journey. And sometimes you just pissed, but it's like, yo, it's the part of this. You run the business. So this is what's going to happen. People are going to want to come and do business deals with you. People are going to want to come join forces with you. They see you strong. People are going to want to come and pick your brain. And people are going to come and be around you. They want to see what you got. What's that charisma? What's that magic? Let me get some of that. What's that? Why everybody like you? Why everybody want to come around you? Why? When you genuine and you do like, because I was telling my wife, I swear to you, like 2 days ago, like, yo, I get questioned from the time I get up to the time I go to sleep. I don't want to come home and answer no questions. But that's with me right now. I got to balance because at 4:30, that works out the window. You got to in here. You got to answer questions.
Right
out there, you get to put the question on, but you got it. Like, what's for dinner? Why you
because you're at home. Like this is okay. This is your job. You on your second job. What you talking about? Because if she asking you, you got to be there for her.
Absolutely. So these are the things that you got to learn. But I think balance is. Whew, I ain't even put the balance is
top tier. Top tier.
Balance is tough because you be like, I got to get these jobs done, and then you be 11 o'clock at night, and the family looking at you like, yo, we was about to play Monopoly. What happened? And I'm like, oh, my bad. Okay, so I make sure we got Uno night football.
Oh, nice.
No work. Like,
that's pretty cool.
So.
That's pretty cool. So before I let you go, I want to know what is in store. What can we expect from MCM Plumbing, from Mr. Mark McCalop, Mr. MCM himself?
We got some big things coming up with a couple of companies that we doing. We got some off-stream businesses that we doing.
Okay.
But the biggest thing is I want to teach. Like, my whole thing is teach. So I'm planning on like doing like a trade school, like paid for. Like, it's not like okay, like a program, like the program I'm doing, like I send kids through and I pay them and I teach them and I pay them, like, and it's not a school, so nobody can't regulate me.
Right.
I'm paying them. They under my insurance, and you just basically.
What is it, like an intern kind of thing, like an apprenticeship or something?
It's like an intern, like a paid intern apprenticeship. So like you come through, because a normal apprenticeship is $8,000, which is equivalent to 4 years in a trade till you get $2,000 a year. What we're trying to do, what we're going to do.
We're on our way to do it. Claim it, buddy. Claim it, my brother.
Is basically like get kids re-interested in trades, because you hear college, which is nothing wrong with that. I don't.
Right.
But these trades is like, I didn't have a whopping $200,000 in student loans.
Right.
I was earning while most people were learning, and when I'm done, like at my peak, right at the end of the day when I get my license, people just starting. So the pay gap is here for tradesmen and for college graduates. So by the time I'm still elevating here. You got to get your student loans paid off. You still here. By the time you get there, it's kind of like, well, I done made and saved and did this and it's my view. I know people in college like, well, I went to college, I got a degree, I make this. That's fine. I'm not knocking it. I get this, but I know what's coming from us is going to be big, because we definitely give it back, and we definitely trying to get the trades to be more visual to our community, and just show people, like, I got 3 young bucks on the team that's just like they
ready, they hungry,
they about to get busy. It's gonna be.
So how do you? So you got those 3 people. They came from nothing, no skills, no background, and then they came and they want to do it. They're showing an interest, and then you're bringing them through your program. So what happens when they're finished?
No. The program is work. But I put up against anybody at their age. I put them up against anybody.
How are you able to do that?
Not that I mean, just like when you have the job, then you have the resource, and you are the boss. You can make the decision. I say I want to bring in these people, and that's what I do. That's what it boils down to.
Goddamn boss shit. Okay, listen.
You gotta flex it a little bit sometimes. Like, yo, we're not doing it. Oh, I think we are. Let's do that. Let's bring those in. We're not hiring right now. Yeah, we are. Let's bring this kid in, or little cool things you get to do. But
As the boss and as the CEO, because everybody want to be a boss and everybody call themselves a boss, but like these are real boss decisions and boss moves. Like, don't play with it.
But the thing is this: I am marketing. I work for MCM. MCM is the entity. I just happen to own it. But
period. But I'm also an employee.
I'm also an employee. Listen.
What's that show back in the day? The hair growth thing. It was like I'm also a client.
I'm the only client. I'm also the president.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it.
Exactly.
Guys. So I definitely appreciate you for coming to your show. Like, your story is very intriguing. I can't wait to get this. I can't wait to get this out so we can, get the people excited. I mean, I'm inspired. I don't even want to be a plumber. You know what I mean? Like, if I was, I'm sitting there like, how can I be down with MCM?
Listen, we coming down south. We
period.
We got things covered. We got things working on.
So tell them where you are. Tell them the name of your business, where you're located, how you go about. Tell them we don't know.
Okay. Name of the business is MCM Plumbing LLC. We are located in Hartford, in the heart of Hartford, on Love Lane at the Swift Factory building. Which
Hartford, Connecticut. That's for the people who don't.
I'm sorry, my bad. Hartford, Connecticut 06112. Suite 3-205. Period. I mean, not with a T, not that period with a T and all that. Just regular period. And we say that's where we are. We are in the community in which we serve. We make sure that we used to be up in West Hartford Center, but we made a conscious effort.
How do people find you? How do people find you? Like, they so you don't do residential anymore, or you do residential and
we not so much. We opened back up a service division. You can find us on Facebook, MCM Plumbing LLC, MCM Plumbing LLC, CT, Facebook, Instagram, Mr. MCM Plumbing. Like, it's going to be Mr. MCM Plumbing on all socials. Okay. And we keep it real. Like, you're going to have some, like, you might have some bloopers, you might have some stuff that we did, like, yo, look, this is what happened, or some jokes, like, yo, this is what happens when you go to a club. Like, we just regular. We ain't sitting up in the office, unable to be seen. We right here amongst the people. So
right,
we keep it as real as we can.
So who's your target customer? Talk to your target customer. Like, these are
my
you do only
customer?
You only do government jobs?
We do mainly larger contracts.
Tell them how you do it.